Hi everybody, I'm Lisa Young Sutton, and this is a video that a couple people requested because they were a bit confused by the card of confusion. Isn't that ironic? So we're talking about the clouds card here. Now, what confused them were all of the mentions of the clouds card in the original instructions. So they asked if this card could really change the meanings of other cards. And I hope the clouds will dissipate after you watch this video. Okay, now in the original directions or instructions that were included with all the early decks, the clouds is mentioned in the description of several cards. It was seen as the most problematic card. It's mentioned with the clover, the stars, the dog, the tower, the ways, or crossroads, the letter, and the lily. And they all, in all of those cases, it states that the benefits of these cards aren't achievable if the clouds is darkening them. So the first thing to understand is the difference between the clouds and the other negative cards. The clouds card is the general card of troubles. Other negative cards have more specific meanings. The snake is the card of unexpected complications. The coffin is the card of painful endings. The scythe is the accident and risk card. The whip is the card of anger and discord. The fox is trickery and wrongness. Mountain is obstacles and obstructions. Mice is loss and spoilage, and the cross is the card of burdens that must be endured, right? So think about what the clouds are. Think about what clouds are. You know, clouds in the sky. Clouds cast a dark shadow on things, yes? They obscure, they hide, they cover up. Clouds make things hard to see, hard to understand, hard to predict. Think about thick fog, which is clouds on the ground, right? They confuse things. We can't see anything clearly. We can't focus on what's ahead. They create uncertainty and doubts regarding where we step or where we drive. When will these clouds lift, we wonder. We can't predict that. Even professional weather forecasters have very limited success in that department. Think about how you feel when you see that a storm is brewing. You wonder, how bad will it be? How long will it last? What damage will it cause? This is the essence of the clouds card. That's its core function. Now apply that to any card that it's touching. It doesn't actually change the card's meanings, but is one of the strongest negative influencers of the deck, just as the sun is one of the strongest positive influencers. Remember also that card order and proximity are key in reading our spreads. Above, when the clouds is above or the dark side is facing another card, that brings longer lasting and more serious storms or damage, right? When the clouds is under or the light side is facing a card, you could just think of it as bringing some fog or some light clouds or light rain that obscures visibility or dampens spirits. We can say that under and the light side touching is kind of moving away or rising above from the clouds. So the issue is lifting, right? It's still there, but the severity is lessened and there's hope for a turnaround or improvement. And it's one of the easiest cards to visualize with because it's easy to visualize what clouds above a card are doing or next to a card. So place it, go ahead and take it out of your deck and place it around all the other cards in different positions and think about how it influences them. So I'm going to show you some examples right now. Hang on, I got to take a drink of water. Okay. Alrighty. I'm just using my cheapy-do Grand Tableau Lenormand deck, which is readily available and inexpensive, and it's a nice, what do you call it, a copy of an original deck. All right, so here we have the clouds, and you can see that we have the lighter side, or the clearing side, on the left, and we have the dark side on the right. All right, so let's put it with the rider. Okay, here we have it above the rider. Let me zoom. We have it above the rider. So now what does that make you think of, right? The news he's bringing is troubling or confusing or ambiguous, right? If the rider is representing activity or action, it might be something that you're not prepared for, right? I'll move it around with some of these cards too, in different positions. Okay, so if you put it over the clover, this is a big one because here, the plot says, the Petit Lenormand original translation says, this card, the clover, with the clouds, represents great pain. But if near the seeker, it will be of short duration. So the clover near the seeker represents luck and opportunities, right? The sun makes the clover grow bigger and it lasts longer. The clouds then has the opposite effect. It makes it hard to see and confusing, and it's like you're confused about the opportunity that this clover represents, or what to do with the luck, or it's simply saying that this is now dark luck, or which is bad luck, right? The clouds is darkening this card of luck, making it now dark luck or bad luck. Okay? Clouds shade plants so that they can't thrive or grow or live very long, and the clover is already a short-term card, right? So the pain the plot is referring to is that you can't see the clover to pick it, or it's going to die before you can pick it, which makes the opportunity this card represents unpredictable and ambiguous. All right? Now, if the clover, let me get rid of the rider. Okay, say the clover is above the clouds, right? Okay, so what I just said about the clouds and the clover, that would be the same pretty much if the dark side was touching the clover, okay? If the clouds are above the clover or the dark side is touching, those are the worst case scenarios. If the clover is above the clouds or on the light side, right, now we have a bit of a different story, okay? So if we put it like this, so that the clover is above, well, if we, you know what, let me do it this way first. Hang on, because I have to follow me. I don't want to lose my train of thought here. All right, yeah, because with this, you can, I read left to right, right? So you can see that the clover is moving into the troubles, but it's the light side, okay? So it's heading into trouble, yes, but it's the lighter side of the cloud, so it's not as serious, and it will be of shorter duration, all right? Now, if the clover is above the clouds, we could say that the clover kind of grew up out of the clouds, right? If you want to visualize it that way. So it's growing up out of an unpredictable environment. So this is an opportunity that I probably wouldn't trust. I mean, think about the energy this would bring to a reading, right? The clouds in a foundational position. This is the foundation position is under a card, right? Above is influencing, and below is a foundation card, or right? So, would you behave? So we could say that this clover is growing up out of an unpredictable environment. The clouds in a foundation position is unsteady, unfocused, and unclear. And then the clover, what's the clover bringing as an influence to that? Irresponsibility and not having a care in the world. I mean, it's touching a negative card, so we're looking at its more negative meanings, right? So Would you trust that opportunity? I wouldn't. Okay. So let's get rid of the clover and let's go to the stars, because that's another one that it seems like it's totally changing the meaning of the card in the plot. All right. So the stars. If the stars represents receiving guidance, and it does, right? The stars is our guidance card. But if the clouds is above it, then your guidance is obscured. Yes? You can't see any stars in a sky on a cloudy night. So clouds in the sky equals no guidance. No guidance equals making wrong moves. Okay? So it's not changing the meaning of this card, it's adding its influence, and that's what its influence is doing. Okay, let's look at the tower. Above the tower, okay, in a grand tableau, right, we look above the tower to gain a higher perspective, to gain a broader perspective, or a better view of things, right? That's what we look at the card that's above the tower for that. To gain a better perspective on whatever situation we're asking about. But if the clouds is there, it's obscured, right? What happened to your great view when you got to the top of the tower? Well, you can't see it because the clouds are there. Now, as the longevity card, you're heading for long-term troubles if the clouds is above or the dark side is facing, right? Because if this is representing longevity, this is saying that it doesn't look good, right? This is the card of troubles, right? Okay. I'm just going to keep going with these because if it hasn't clicked yet, it will. All right, so above the garden. Well, what can you say about the garden on a cloudy day? It's not such a great day to go to the park, is it? It's going to rain on your party. If the garden is representing the public, we could say that, ooh, the public could be deceived. There you go. That's a good one. All right, so what happens when the clouds are above the mountain? And remember, above and dark side facing are very similar. Okay? All right, so let's just stick with above. Okay, so, well, you can see that your obstacles just got harder to overcome because there's troubles hanging around, looming above. Ooh, looming, I like that word. All right, so what happens when you reach the summit of the mountain and you can't see anything because of the clouds? Well, then you're really stuck, aren't you? All right, this is a good one, the ways or crossroads. You can't see your options clearly. You're hesitant and unsure of which way to go. You can see that there's trouble on your path. This could refer to bad decisions, unclear options, or confusion about your choices. All right, stick it above the moist. Little moisels. Okay, so above the mice, and you can't see those mice, so you can't stop the loss or spoilage or destruction that they bring. You can see how it's making all these negative cards worse. What if we stuck it above one of the Seeker's cards? Well, what can you say when clouds are above a person's card? They're confused. Their heads are in the clouds. They're disoriented. They're troubled. Okay. Here we go, above the lily. Ooh, above the lily. We could say this might represent clouded judgment, unpredictable or unstable morals. If you're interpreting the lily as wisdom, well, you can't see your wisdom. You can't get to it. This is like Alzheimer's, right? Yeah. Above the sun, well, that's a pretty clear one, right? When the clouds is above the sun, you can't, receive the energy of the sun, right? you know, below, and we could say the sun is burning through the clouds, but the clouds are still there. All right, but let's stick with our above. So above the sun, you can't see the light. It's unclear. It's unclear if you'll be able to maintain your determination. This could represent dampened enthusiasm. Okay. Above the moon. What's the moon the card of? Recognition, acknowledgement, your reputation, how others view you. So here we could say there's something deceptive about this reputation. Above the anchor. Above the anchor, we could say you dropped your anchor in an unstable place. All right. And above the cross, you can't see an end to your suffering. You've got confused principles or shady doctrines. Oh, I like that. Shady doctrines. I'm going to write that one down. All right, so I hope this video helped. Help to remove the clouds from your thinking and add a little light to your learning. Thanks for watching, everybody. Please like and share my videos, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. See you in the next video. Bye.